room. Yes. So let us take a deep breath. And just anchoring into this now moment. Noticing the beauty of spring that is springing forth around us. And in this moment, I'm hearing the birds chirping outside. Feeling the warmth of the light. Yes. So grand rising, everyone. Grand rising. Our theme this month for May is from good to great to grand. And today's topic is the value-led life. This is one of my favorite subjects because when we know and understand our core values, what really makes us come alive, that feels in integrity with the unique expression and the authenticity of who we are. When we can identify those things and then begin to live with intention, letting those values dictate how we spend our time and our money and where we place our energy, that leads to a life that feels fulfilled and alive and in integrity, yes? Yes. And it's an ongoing journey, at least for me. You know, there are some things that I can look back through my life that have definitely been those core values that have been there since childhood. And sometimes I may forget or get distracted with other things, but that value has been there, kind of waiting to be reemerged and reawakened. And so for me, one of those core values is creativity, right? And not only expressing creatively, but being inspired by other people's creativity. Excuse me. And that is one of the things that I love about community, is that we can be inspired by one another's creativity. So we have the beautiful music here, we have the art on the walls. And this weekend, right now, yesterday and today, is Mayfest, and Ahava is participating for the first time. So I want to really just acknowledge Cora Bell and Nora Swanson for anchoring that. And Bernadette, our amazing local Prisma the Clown, is there yesterday and today doing face painting and sharing her creativity and her art with balloon animals and attracting all the young children to our booth and sharing the love of Ahava as well. So just wanted to presence that and shout that out to all of the beautiful artists. And there's a number of folks that are in our community that are selling their art and displaying it this weekend. So creativity is not only the ability to create art. I think that sometimes we can separate ourselves or think that, well, I'm not creative, right? Or because we don't have a certain artistic inclination, or maybe we compare ourselves to others and think, well, I'm not like that, so I'm not creative. But the truth is, we are all creative beings because we are always creating and co-creating our life experience based on what we focus on, what we think, what we believe, what we are attuned to see in the world. It is showing up in our lives in a way. Oh, thank you so much. You knew just what I needed today. I appreciate that. So it is, our lives is a demonstration of pure creativity, yes? And that idea of being open to listen and receptive to receive all that life has to offer and to express itself through us is how we get to co-create with the infinite possibility of life, of expression through our individual lives. So this week, we are going to explore a little bit deeper about our core values and how to live them more fully. And our book of the month is the Lightmaker's Manifesto, which we heard a reading from this morning. And that reading that was shared is the author herself shares a process of creating what she calls her spark statement. So what Cora Bell read was actually the spark statement, which she says, the author, Karen, fully expresses the light that I hope to create with my work and my activism. And armed with my new spark statement, I'm able to respond in confidence and decide kind of what, as a guide of what she wants to do, right? So in a world of constant demands, perhaps, of infinite possibilities, we are the ones that gets to decide where we are placing our energy, what we are focusing on, and what we show up to and how we show up. And it can be easy to have that be flipped and have the world dictate what needs to be done each day, or other people, or what the media says. And the idea of getting really solid on what we value puts that onus back, right? It allows us to be the center of the creative control, so to speak, of what we are creating for our lives. Next Sunday, there's an opportunity to stay after service with me for an hour, hour and a half, and I'm going to lead a process of looking at a whole list of values and helping you discern your core values and then create your own spark statement. And with that statement before you each day, when you have an opportunity to make a choice, if you got an invitation to go to an event or participate in something, or to show up in some way to whether it be called for activism or support, volunteer, share your gifts, your talents, with that spark statement, it can help you to shape and create what is your sacred yes and what is your sacred no. Because just as important to saying yes to all that we love and desire, creativity, beauty, it is also important to then hone that focus and protect. The word protect, I'm kind of like, because it's not like you have to protect from anything negative, but really kind of, guard, maybe that's a better, cultivate or guard your energy such that it is in alignment with your spark statement, with your values, and it just kind of becomes an easier litmus to what is your sacred yes and what is your sacred no. Does that sound like a good idea? Would that sound helpful to some folks? Yes. We'll find a way for those of you online as well. We can make it a hybrid experience, and so keep an eye out this week for information on how to tune into that, or plan to stick around after service on a love offering donation for that experience. Because I love getting up here on Sundays and the energy and the connection and sharing these ideas. But the truth is, we walk in our world every day. And if we are not equipped with the tools to make this practical in our everyday life, then it's kind of like, what's the point of coming together and feeling inspired on Sunday if we're going to forget it by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So this community is here to support you in practical spirituality, living it, every day with as much intention as possible and opportunities to do that. So learning to live from our values is a transformative journey, not only in self-discovery, but also in alignment. And it begins by understanding the areas in which we focus our attention and our energy. So what do I often say? Awareness is key, right? So the first step in this journey in waking up and self-discovery and self-realization, which we talked about last week, is to first start noticing where we are now. Paying attention to what is occurring in our life as a reflection of what we are putting our energy and attention and where our thoughts and beliefs may be. And then from that, looking to see, is this really in alignment with who I am and what I desire for myself and the world? And if it's been a while and all of a sudden you're noticing like, whoa, how did I get here, right? What's going on? Then this is an opportunity to course correct with grace, with love and self-compassion always. So I love the analogy, or maybe it's a metaphor, of an airplane when a flight path goes from, say, we're going to leave out of the Lexington, beautiful bluegrass airport, and we are going to travel to, where do we want to travel to today, y'all? The Bahamas. Great. So we are going and we are traveling to the Bahamas, and that flight path, the pilot's job is to go from A to B, and yet on this journey, the plane doesn't go straight. It's a constant, the pilot's job is course correcting, course correcting. So it kind of looks more like a, right? And I don't know about you, but my life, our life, can kind of look a little bit like, sometimes it might even look like, oh, right? And we will land in our destination when we have that goal and that intention of what we desire and where we are going in mind. And along the journey, the opportunity is to course correct and to see and notice, whoa, all of a sudden my focus is here. Whoa, looks like I'm heading more towards Arkansas. That's not really on my radar. I thought we were going to, the Bahamas, and getting back in alignment. So where we focus our energy and attention and paying attention to what is occurring in our life and our thoughts, we can then realign and get back on that path of authentic living, of value-led living, and embracing the integrity of who we really are and what we desire. So we pay attention, but then we also have to understand and do a little bit of this work that we're going to do next week more deeply, and understanding and clarifying our own values and our beliefs, noticing what the BS is that's running our lives, our belief systems, and then seeing if those beliefs still work for us, right? And if not, call it BS and let it be and realign. And then this will not only allow us to live in more integrity, but it also creates a strong foundation for living in harmony with our true selves, feeling that aliveness and knowing that we are here on this planet at this time for something unique to be expressed through us. And asking those questions of what do I value most and what makes me feel alive and excited, what are my passions, doing that inner exploration, that self-navigation of our inner landscape, which we started with last week, begins to let us know how to point the way, right? How to tune our compass for where we are going in life in order to show up in harmony with who we are, but as well as in harmony with what we desire and what we are co-creating for the collective as a whole. So we are going to integrate the elements of our attention, right? Our mindfulness, where we're placing our attention, our passions, what makes us feel alive, what is unique to us, what are those things that, maybe get a little rise. Passion is, I love that word. When I say the word passion, I see a color. I see a very, deep purple, right? I don't know. This is just me, but our passion. The color purple has a lot of red in it as well, right? And red, I don't know where this is coming from today, y'all. It's just coming through. But red, to me, is that energy, that fire, that inner fire, and can sometimes be expressed in what we may call anger. And our world has, our society, especially the Western society, and in most cultures, I think, often kind of demonize anger, right? We think it's bad. We don't want to go there because there are ways that anger can lead to unconscious violence. And there are ways that anger, consciously paid attention to, can rise through us like passion to change, to be a catalyst for change in our own lives and in the world. So often those that are doing the work of social activism and social justice and saying the things that most people don't want to hear or would rather ignore, but saying the things that need to be said, can be seen as angry and then kind of become this persona of the angry activist that is just another way that our society can then make that bad or wrong so that we don't pay attention to it. And when we choose to see passion as a catalyst for change, we can allow the red energy of that fire, that conscious anger that this isn't right, with the warm tones of love and the energy of our heart, creating that beautiful purple energy and rising above with love to create a shift and to allow our activism and our sacred activism and our work to co-create a world that works for all, to be done in a way that doesn't take us out, right? That doesn't have such a negative impact individually and collectively on us. So this book is such a great guide for this, because just listen to the subtitle, y'all. So the Lightmaker's Manifesto, How to Work for Change Without Losing Your Joy. Oh, okay, so that's possible. And another thing that's been coming to me this week is joy. That is another one of my core values. Whether it be joy or playfulness, they're kind of, but the ability to experience joy in this world that can seem so heavy is so important. It helps to create that harmony and that balance and that foundation so that we can continue to work for change and not just be motivated by the anger of the injustices, but combine that catalyst for change with our passion and our joy and our love to create something new and to do it in a whole new way. So that's what this book is the guide for. And we do have a few copies that will be available to pick up this week. And they are coming in, so I'll be around some this week, or next Sunday you can get your own copy if you're interested in looking at this more. So the three elements are attention, passion. The third one is our beliefs. That BS we talked about. So this is how we embark on a transformative path towards living a value-based life. And I just want to call this out too, because sometimes when, at least for me, when I hear this idea of like value-based living, I can think of the word value sometimes gets, whatever the word for this is, commingled, merged, conflated with morality, religious morality. So if anyone else is hearing this or feeling that little bit of that trigger of, oh, value-based living, I have to be pure of spirit, I must be humble and do things a certain way in order to receive the gifts of heaven and be good as God desires, we are kind of flipping that script and saying, the truth is that the infinite source of life, that which we may call God or spirit or universe, is all that there is and is not a man in the sky that has a list of who's good and bad and is in, some Santa Claus God that's tracking and saying, oh, Kim, you are living your values today, so I'm going to give you a check. But watch out tomorrow, So you're going to still get your presents, don't worry. So what we know here is that heaven is experienced right here, right now on earth as we choose to live it. And living in integrity with our values allows us to experience heaven. So there's not, I want us just to presence or notice if that's coming up for you at all, any of that old shame or ideas of morality, of that you somehow are supposed to be or do something a certain way in order to be accepted or loved. That is a belief that no longer serves us as a collective. So let's call that one BS, and drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. So when we look at what our beliefs are, this is the work that is really that deep inner work of curating our mindset, curating our beliefs such that we are living in integrity. And there are the work on discovering those hidden beliefs, some may call them the core wounds or this kind of inner child work, this work on excavating those beliefs that are perhaps so unconscious that we aren't aware of them until we do some sort of inner work or process, whether it be in a workshop, in a journal, on our own, with a prayer partner, with a licensed practitioner or a licensed counselor. That work with whatever sacred guide you choose allows us to unearth those beliefs that are outpicturing in our lives in some way, unconsciously often, but still making an impact on our experience. And when we can look and pay attention and call it out, we create that space between us and that belief, We can notice it, we can name it, like I talked about last week with the ego. Notice those patterns, and then do the work to transform that by creating new neural pathways in our brains, by creating, course creating, by aligning with and using our spiritual practices such as affirmations, practicing mindfulness, listening, and allowing love to be the guide so that we can begin to curate our own belief system and replace those beliefs that no longer serve with those which are serving the highest good for ourselves and all involved. And that work is what our licensed spiritual practitioners are specifically trained to do. And we have 3 in the room right now. Just want to mention Kim, we have Nancy, we have Patty, and we have Marianne online in Nashville. And our practitioners are here to support you in revealing wholeness and seeing the truth of who you are even when you have forgotten. In holding a space, not only through spiritual mind treatment and prayer that you may receive after service or by submitting a prayer request, but they offer one-on-one sessions where you can sit for an hour and they will guide you to do this work, to unearth those beliefs and then to plant the seeds of the new beliefs which are in alignment with your own personal integrity and value-led life, giving you spiritual tools and practices to implement that. We also do this work through our classes and our workshops. So, where we place our attention plays a vital role in that process of discovering who we are and remembering who we are in order to live from our values. And then when we notice we are perhaps slightly off course or way off course, we can lovingly and gently, with compassion and grace, pull ourselves back and get the guidance and the support we need from this community, from one another, to do the brave and courageous work of excavating those beliefs, perhaps those doubts, that idea of not good enough, who am I to do this, those beliefs in unworthiness, not enoughness, lack, limitation, all of those things that are very common to the human experience, but don't have to be. We do that work in order to live a more authentic and integrous life. Brene Brown, as you know, one of my sheroes, in her book Rising Strong says, integrity is choosing courage over comfort. It's choosing what's right over what is fun or easy. It's choosing to practice your values rather than simply professing them. Woo! She has a way of just calling it out sometimes, right? Of just like cutting like a knife, cutting right through. So sometimes we have to notice where perhaps we are a little performative in our values. Are we posting pictures on social media of, look what I did today, and yet feeling shame when we are actually not living in our values? Or are we integrating a holistic lifestyle that requires choosing courage over comfort? If we know what we value, then we must do the work also to choose in order to live in integrity with what we value, right? So not just believe it, but what are our actions? What are we actually doing? So if we say we value nature and perhaps oneness, what actions can we take in our life that demonstrate that? And again, this performative idea is we're not doing it to get the accolades for other people to see and know how great we are, because that often is coming from that deep belief in unworthiness, or I'm not good enough, right? That needs the love and attention from others to feel good. So instead, we are going to lean into the discomfort of doing the hard work for ourselves. What if no one ever knew the good works that we did, yet we knew that we are in integrity and we are putting our energy and our time and our money towards what we value? And we get to relish in the fruits of the demonstration of that by living in a world with more integrity and authenticity and harmony. But sometimes it's choosing the path that is a little bit more prickly, that is not as well stepped and patted down, to forge a new way. So, Gretchen Rubin reminds us that focus not on doing less or doing more, but on doing what you value. Again, back to that litmus test for your life, your daily life. So once you know and identify what you value, it's not really about like, am I doing enough or am I doing too much? It's more about, I can say yes to those things which bring aliveness, and I can lovingly and sacredly say no to those. They may even interest us slightly, or we get a little excited or might have a little FOMO, fear of missing out if this event or that event. But if we really were to look at it, and this is the work that I'm doing right now, right? Ooh, when life sometimes shows up and there's an opportunity to be more mindful of how to spend our energy in order to not be overwhelmed or exhausted, in order to heal and to process. If anyone else is going through a time like that, it requires even more discernment for how we spend our time and our energy to not get completely exhausted. So focusing not on doing less or doing more, but doing what you value. And when we do that, which brings us life and in alignment with integrity, it actually is a generative process, right? It can generate and create more energy and enthusiasm and excitement and aliveness and synergy when we then to connect and share, because we are so passionate about what is going on in our life that we can't help but talk about it. And then we start to attract others with similar interests and talents, and together we come together and create something that we could not create on our own. And that feeling of synergy is the aliveness that, at least for me, is the pinnacle experience, right? Of creating things together. Michael Beckwith is the founder of the Agape International Spiritual Center, and also an amazing spiritual teacher of the Science of Mind, New Thought principles that we teach here. And he says, as the alchemist of your own life, find a bit of the frequency you want to experience and place your attention there. As it becomes your perception, live from there. So what a great blueprint, right? I'll break it down again. So first of all, as the alchemist of your own life, right? So another way of saying this is the creator of your own life, as the curator of your unique life experience. Find the frequency that you want to experience. So every week in our Facebook community group, there's a question that says, what quality would you like to embody more fully this week? This is that same idea. What's the frequency? What's the vibration? What's the energetic resonance of a quality that you want to experience more of? Be it love, creativity, courage, power, peace, harmony. And then place your attention there. So notice where that, let's say creativity, we started with that one. Notice where creativity is showing up, and when you place your attention there, you begin to see it more often. And then you begin to rise and consciously cultivate your own vibration and frequency to rise to that resonance of the quality you desire, say creativity. And then it becomes your perception so that you have the eyes to see it in the world and in others, and that's where we can live from. The beautiful blueprint of how to live a value-led life. So this week, I invite you to do a little of this inner work and to start to think about what are some areas in your life where you feel a little out of integrity, right? Where it's just something doesn't seem in the flow, where perhaps you're even aware, like, oh, I'm really not living from my values in this relationship or in this career or this field or this whatever situation or dynamic it may be. Maybe with your eating, with your health, with your finances, right? So we can kind of look at these areas of our lives and see where we might be out of alignment. And then notice, how do our values inform what we do in the world? How are we actually acting on, or where could we take more action in alignment with what we value? And then the third question to contemplate this week as kind of this work, laying the foundation for next week's journey, is, have your values changed or evolved as you discover more about yourself and about the world? Yes. And if you are like, well, I don't even know where to start with this values work, I will print it next week for the workshop, a list of values. There's like 2 pages, a whole bunch of them. But we'll also put it out on our social media, in our groups, and places for you to find it. And to start to think about and to read and see what words resonate with you in order to do this work of discerning your core values. I may have them on the screen, but I don't know if you have them there. I don't know if you can really see them, but they're super tiny to read from here. But this list, and it's 2 pages. See, look at all those. Woo! There's some good ways to start this work. So I'll have that printed next week, and we'll share it this week for you as well. So this is what we're up to this week, if you are willing to harness the power of your attention and your passion and your beliefs so that we can begin to take steps towards living that value-led life. Where you began by cultivating a mindfulness mindset and then directing our attention towards understanding more deeply and getting to know who we are and what our core values are. Everything all right back there? Love it. We're just, yes, getting rid of some BS back there. I know. Yes, that structure, whatever that was, it no longer fit, and it just went crush, crush, bang. It came down. I love it. What a metaphor for the systems, right, in our life and the systems in our world that just need to crumble. All right, so we're going to begin to shift our systems of thoughts and our beliefs and our actions in order to align with our values and our most authentic self. Explore our passion and those sparks of inspiration within and begin to embrace these as guides for our journey. So another thing that may be helpful, a very practical thing, is get a journal, get a notebook, or our smartphones have note app. And when you're walking the world and you notice something that feels that what you would describe as that spark or that inspiration, make a note of it. And when you notice something that feels like your energy is totally drained afterwards, whether it be in a conversation with someone, think about what the subject was, think about what you were talking about or what you were thinking about in those times that you feel drained. These are some ways that can help point you as well to what's really going on. And we can delve deep into our beliefs and question and refine them and ensure that they are in harmony with our authentic self. Aligning our thoughts, our words, and our actions with these beliefs to guide us towards living a life of integrity and authenticity. And this is how we create an inevitable movement from good, right? Life is good. That's a place to start. We got that life is good shirt. That's great. But imagine then we're going to go from life is good to life is great. Life is great. And eventually to grand rising. Life is grand. Grand rising, that's right. And recognize and activate our values both in our individual and our collective experience. Yes? Yes. Are we up for this work? Yes. What was that? Yes. Okay, because it's going to take courage. It's going to take a little bit more oomph than like, okay. So, are we up to doing this work to live our value-based life from good to great to grand? Give me a yes, and a woo and a woo-hoo. That's right. Okay. Take a breath. Let's take this into prayer. Recognizing the one life that is love, that is freedom, that is joy, that is wholeness. This one life that is the energy, the source back of all things. Living and moving and having its way through all beings and life itself. Life is joy in expression. Life is peace and harmony and wholeness. Life is freedom. And there is only one life. And that life is God's life, Spirit's life. And that life is my life now. For there is only one presence, one power, one source. And this one life is living and moving and having its way right here, right now, in, as, and through me, in, as, and through all beings. This one life is showing up now as me. So I choose this day to consciously say yes, to embody more fully these qualities, this vibration of the values that I choose to live from. So today I am saying yes to aliveness. I am saying yes to wholeness, to freedom, to creativity, to joy. I am saying yes to remaining awake and aware and lovingly paying attention to all that is occurring in my world as that divine reflection. So therefore I can choose and choose and choose again to live in in integrity, to remember who I am. So as I speak this word right here, right now, in the first person, I speak it for the I that is we, knowing that this truth is revealed through all of us. That each and every one of us has the power and the potential and the great opportunity and sacred gift to say yes to authentic living. Each one of us has the opportunity to live in harmony with those things that make us feel alive. For not only do we deserve it, the fact is we are it. There is no need to deserve. We simply get to be it. So today I know that we are choosing to live life fully, with love and compassion, and always grace and space to course correct where needed, to be that sacred community for one another, to see the truth perhaps in others when they can't see it for themselves, and to be reminded of the oneness of life and the pure potentiality that resides within all. So today, I choose to see the beauty around me. I choose to see the love and the peace and the power and the freedom. And I choose to be the highest vibration in every environment I find myself in. How good it is. How good it is to know this truth. How good it is to choose this day to remember who I am and to walk hand in hand in harmony with those qualities of life. To allow heaven to be revealed on earth here and now. And for this, I am grateful. I am so grateful for the fulfillment of this word. As I release it now into the action of the law that always says, yes, my beloved, yes, 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 it is already done and it is so. And therefore, I know and say and accept. And so it